So we're finally at the last focus in Lovecraft's tree, A Nation of Madness. The higher sky as we crossed through the range was surely vaporous and disturbed enough, and although I did not see the zenith, I can well imagine that swirls of ice, dust, may have taken strange forms. At the time the shrieks were confined to the repetition of a single mad word of all too unobvious sorts. So we finished the Lovecraft specific tree, so we can only go down the generic New England focuses that apply to any route. So re-establish the Minutemen. Governor Long claims to have inherited the legacy of the Minutemen, but we are the true successors to those who stared down the British on the fields of Lexington and Concord, and so shall we again oppose his troops when they come for us. Army experience plus 50, we gain the national spirit, Minutemen in New England, which grants recruitable population 3%, division attack on core territory plus 3%, and division defense on core territory plus 5%. 1940 El Centro Earthquake. An earthquake has occurred along the southern border of the U.S. state of California and the Mexican state of Baja California. The epicenter is located in the town of El Centro in America, but it has also affected the homes on the Mexican side of the border. 9 people have been killed in the earthquake and over 20 people have been seriously injured. The total damage is announced to over $6 million US. The earthquake damaged quite a lot of irrigation within the region for farms within the region, which is likely to have ripple effects elsewhere. It was the first major earthquake to be recorded by a strong motion seismograph located next to a fault rupture over the humanity. So one of 4 options will happen. It can remove a military factory in Southern California, a civilian factory in Southern California, 50% chance of Southern California removing infrastructure, or 10% chance of nothing happening. Obviously I'd hope for nothing happening, but we'll see. Japan seizes motor companies. With the nation in turmoil, Japan has seized control of several American motor companies operating there. The Civil War has caused many of the companies to lose contact with their parent companies, and they have been struggling to get parts for their assembly lines. This has made it rather easy for the Japanese to seize control of them under the pretense of assistance. While this is clearly an illegal act, we are in no position to do anything more than send a strongly worded letter to them. Strongly worded indeed. Political power minus 25, we gain assimilation of foreign motor industries. In our opinion, the Empire of Japan goes down by 50. So I didn't do this national focus, it was just bypassed for some reason. We are surrounded by history. From the battlefields of Lexington and Concord, where the first shots of the Revolution were fired, to the hollowed halls of Boston. We must treasure and celebrate our past as the birthplace of American democracy. The border is drawn to the state of New York, and we shall give our best to keep the ideological extremes to the south outside of our territory. This focus currently has no effect. Changes in the world situation may affect this. Okay, so I have no clue what this does. I guess we'll go with this focus next. Long-range patrol. In cooperation with the armies of the Entente, it has become apparent that we should focus on a small but powerful striking force capable of dealing a massive blow straight in the middle of enemy territory instead of slowly pushing on an open front. Gains National Spirit Special Forces of the Republic, which grants Special Forces Capacity Multiplier plus 10% and Special Forces Minimum Capacity plus 24. Alright. I figured I'd point this out. Lovecraft got a different portrait again after the King in Yellow. But then again, I just wanted to show our progress on the war with Alaska so far. We took over Juneau, and we're working our way towards places like Anchorage and Fairbanks. But after Anchorage and Fairbanks go down, they'll probably capitulate, but I can't say for sure. Behind enemy lines. Just like John Brown, we will send patriots south to spread the word of the coming liberation. They will inspire rebellions and turn people against the tyrants that rule them. When the time comes, they will help bring down the false government. Unlocks infiltrate, improvise, sabotage, resistant actions. So I don't even know if I will be able to use any of those since I beat all the other nations so far. I'm just doing this to get the ones below it that adds more manpower. Alaska has capitulated. Edward VIII has announced that the cowardly Alaska nation could no longer withstand the pressure from the overwhelming presence of Canadian forces throughout the country. The Alaskan government chose to flee the country and has gone into exile. The main forces have capitulated and Kingdom of Canada has now controlled their home area. Though the war continues elsewhere, this is a great victory for Kingdom of Canada. So I don't know why it's saying Canada and not New England there, or Lovecraft there, because I was the one who basically took everything. I mean, yeah, they helped, but even if they didn't help in this time, Alaska was really weak, so I could have done it regardless. Anyway, great news. And this is how the Treaty of Juneau is ending up. I'm taking, well, everything, because I controlled everything at the end of the war. Well, now that we taken Alaska, we can go for this brief decision. Rebuild Alaska. All it'll do is give us it'll make Alaska a core after the 30 days. It bypassed this focus, established the Underground Railway. Few were happy with the government to the south. Just like our grandfathers did in the era of slavery, we will assist those persecuted by the southern traders in coming north to freedom. And as it says, this focus currently has no effect. Changes in the world situation may affect this. I doubt it's going to do anything since the CAR is not there anymore. So let's go with this next. A11 Mathilda Cooperation. The engineers and scientists of the British Empire have long been experimenting with new ways of mechanized warfare, and a joint tank development program by the entire empire. By the entire empire has combined its forces to design the so-called A11 Mathilda tank. Our knowledge of tank development is lacking, but they have granted us the opportunity to join them in designing and creating this new vehicle. 150 units of Canadian Vickers A11 Matilda is added to the national stockpile. Then we get a 55% research bonus for Vickers A11 Matilda support program. Our factories are producing as quickly as we can, but the sheer size of the conflict is forcing us towards the old stockpiles of the Entente. This reserves the older weaponry are far larger than our own, and it will surely help us out for a price. So we'll get 2,000 units of Canadian Enfield Ontario Rifle Mark III/4 is added to this national stockpile, and we lose 75 political power. Even though I can't attack them until this Naval Invasion's done preparing in 43 days, I'm still going to declare war on them, so by the time that invasion's ready, I can just go for it. And so the war goal doesn't expire, so here we go. Declare war. Just waiting to be able to attack now that the Naval Invasion prepares. I just show what my plans are. So we're leaving from Washington here to go down straight to where Honolulu is with these 24 divisions and just attack them. Because I think it said they only have like 3 to 6 divisions, so we should be able to do this easily. Then after defeating them, I plan to justify and declare war on Puerto Rico, as they're the only other American territory left to get. So Hawaii did exactly what I wanted them not to do, and they called Japan to the war as their enemy. So my only saving grace here for not having to fight Japan is that if the AI is too stupid to do a naval invasion correctly, which I'm hoping is the case. I really don't feel like fighting them anytime soon. U.S. Marine Corps. Semper Fidelis means always loyal. I probably didn't pronounce that right. The Marine Corps will always be a bastion of American liberty and democracy and help spread these freedoms around the world. We need to enlarge the Marine Corps and ensure that they are able to protect our power around the globe. So we gain a national spirit, New England Marines, which grants invasion preparation time minus 15%, amphibious evasion speed plus 10%, and a 100% research bonus for marine technology. Alright, so that would have helped before planning the invasion I'm going for now, but oh well. So I had to switch our naval invasion from Washington down to San Francisco because one of the fleets couldn't reach from San Francisco to Hawaii. So, couldn't reach from Washington to Hawaii, but they can reach from San Francisco. Anyway, we can go for our next focus now. Urban combat training. In the alleyways of New York City and the avenues of Washington, D.C. will the Civil War be fought, and our troops will need to be prepared to excel on these fronts, as this is no ordinary war, and no ordinary tactics will suffice if we wish to come out on top. We already finished the Civil War, but, oh well, that doesn't matter, I guess. So we get the naval's guerrilla warfare training, all leg units urban, attack plus 10%, defense plus 5%, and movement plus 5%. But this is one that randomly popped up. The Entente Air Training Scheme. We've been invited by the Canadian government to join in a large-scale multinational air training program on Canadian soil. It would strengthen our alliance and improve the skill of our pilots, but it may be seen as a concession to Canadian dominance of the Entente. So before that, the way they spelled program, is that a British way of spelling it? Because the way I spell it is just P-R-O-G-R-A-M. But oh well. The prayers are the perfect place for piloted train where we get air experience plus 20, and we get a National Spirit Entente air training plan, which grants 8th generation chance plus 10%, air experience gain plus 10%, and air accidents chance minus 10%. And Kingdom of Canada is pleased by us, which is 30 plus opinion, plus 30 opinion. They get event Entente air training scheme expands. Or what do they have to teach about flying? Just they get gains disapproves of our government, which minuses 30 but gives plus 25 political power. I don't want to make them hate us, and I don't have a reason for political power, so I'm going with the prayers are the perfect place for our pilots to train. I'm going for this focus next, the Pass the Infrastructure Act. Rough winters and a lack of public funding have destroyed our infrastructure. Trains are late, roads are full of potholes, and people are angry. Comprehensive investment in infrastructure will placate the population and give the unemployed a well-paying job. So it's basically adding infrastructure and building slots in all these states, of all the New England states. I already have their infrastructure maxed, but I'll still take the building slots. Kinda easy. I just landed in Honolulu and they basically capitulated right away. So it says Hawaii has capitulated, giving us access to 50% of their stockpile equipment. So we got 2,900 infantry equipment, 133 Maharabe tanks, I don't know what that word was, and 3,700 other equipment. Oh well. But I didn't get the thing saying I can, what's it called? The peace treaty yet. Since we, defeated Hawaii, we can rebuild the Pacific Islands. So, after, since we own Hawaii, after 30 days of taking this event, Hawaii, Johnson Atoll, Midway Island, and 4 others will become cores of ours. Then after that, all that's left for us to take is Puerto Rico. So I was going to go after Puerto Rico, but this game already crashed once and it's going insanely slow, so I'm not even going to bother with it. And we already finished Lovecraft's tree, so there's not even much more to show. So I'm going to end this playthrough here. It was a pretty interesting route, but interesting, but then again, morally wrong, because Lovecraft was a terrible person, just an interesting author, in my opinion. But anyway, that's about all the time I have for this part, so goodbye for now.